Jeff destination? My buddy? What?
Yeah, Roger. They were heading up here to full stack of gear on.
On February 11th, 2017, Captain Jeff was declared lost at sea, and the United States Coast Guard in Anchorage sent out an urgent call to all ships in the Bering Sea. They reported that the fishing boat, Destination, was in trouble just a mile west of St. George Island. All nearby vessels were asked to keep an eye out and assist if possible. What happens when a crew goes missing in such a vast, icy expanse? Let us delve into what actually happened to Captain Jeff and his crew that horrific day. Urgent sea rescue by Coast Guard. The Coast Guard quickly sent a helicopter, a MH-60 Jayhawk, to the last known location of the Destination's emergency beacon. The boat was described as white with blue, known as a pot boat, and there were supposed to be 6 people on it. They hoped the crew would be okay and might not even need help, but they were ready to lift them to safety if needed. The plan was to find where the beacon was coming from, look for the crew, and make sure they were safe. The last signal from the boat's tracking system was 2 miles from St. George Island. As the helicopter got close to this area, the team started searching for any signs of the Destination. The sea was full of different things, like buoys and parts of crab pots, making it hard to see clearly. The search became more intense when they spotted an orange object at 9 o'clock from their position. It turned out to be a life ring, which is a really important find because it could help confirm which boat it came from. The Coast Guard called the Silver Spray, another crabbing boat nearby, to help get the life ring. This life ring had the Destination's name on it, which was a big clue that helped understand what happened to the boat. But there's more. The area was scattered with bits and pieces from what seemed like a terrible accident at sea. The mission now was not just to find out what happened, but to find the people who were on the boat. They hoped to find all 6 crew members safe in a life raft, maybe cold, but still alive. The Coast Guard and other boats in the area didn't slow down. They kept looking for any signs of the crew. They found more things that belonged to the boat, which told them more about the scary moments the Destination might have faced. The search effort was a massive collaboration among everyone involved. Each clue they came across was a potential step closer to finding the crew. Radios were alive with chatter, as ships in the area relayed details about their last encounters with the Destination, what they had heard, and any relevant observations. This communication was crucial, helping to form a clearer picture of the boat's movements before things went wrong. As the hours ticked by, the gravity of the situation only deepened. Discovering personal effects and fragments of the boat scattered across the ocean brought home the potential peril faced by the crew. It was a stark reminder of the risks mariners face every day. In these challenging moments, the Coast Guard and other mariners pushed themselves to their limits. They were driven by a strong sense of duty, viewing those missing as their own, a reflection of the close-knit maritime community. Moreover, the collaboration wasn't just about searching. It was about keeping morale high. The Coast Guard continued to coordinate the search operations meticulously, ensuring that no area was overlooked and every piece of debris was checked. They knew that time was of the essence and that every second counted in such dire circumstances. Meanwhile, back on shore, families of the missing crew members were kept informed. The Coast Guard liaison officers worked tirelessly to provide updates, ensuring that the families were aware of the ongoing efforts and any developments. This not only kept the families connected to the situation, but also helped maintain a support network for them during this harrowing time. And there's more. The sea itself posed significant challenges. Weather conditions could change rapidly, with waves that threatened to hamper the search efforts. But the rescue teams were undeterred, braving the elements with a resolve that was both admirable and heartrending. They knew the sea well and understood that its vastness and unpredictability were always factors in such operations. On board the various ships participating in the search, crews were vigilant, keeping their eyes peeled for any sign of the missing boat or its crew. They used binoculars and other equipment to extend their range of vision, aware that any small piece of debris could be the key to unlocking the situation. Each ship communicated regularly with the Coast Guard, providing updates and receiving new instructions as the search pattern expanded. Leaving the sea's search behind, we move to stories of people who survived tough times. These stories show us how strong people can be, fighting for life in open sea. There are some fascinating stories of people who made it through incredibly tough times, lost at sea, showing the remarkable strength they found when things looked bleak. Back in 1981, Stephen Callahan faced a huge challenge when his boat sank deep in the Atlantic Ocean. He wasn't ready to quit. Using smart thinking and survival know-how, Callahan managed to live for 76 days on a basic inflatable raft. He smartly used a device called a solar still. It uses sunlight to make salt water drinkable, and crafted his own spear to catch fish. His efforts weren't just about getting by. They were a testament to his ability to adapt and innovate under extreme conditions. His long struggle ended when he reached a Caribbean island, where he was rescued by local fishermen. Callahan's story really shows how determination and survival skills can turn a grim situation into a tale of making it through. Keep watching for more. In 2012, Jose Salvador Alvarenga's story of endurance began when he and a friend left Mexico for what should have been a normal fishing trip. But a huge storm blew them off course. Alvarenga's friend sadly didn't make it, but Alvarenga himself survived an incredible ocean travel. For over a year, he lived on fish, birds, and rainwater he collected. After drifting nearly 6,000 miles, he amazingly ended up in the Marshall Islands. Alvarenga's experience isn't just a survival story. It's about a deep will to keep going under unimaginable conditions. Tammy Oldham Ashcraft's life took a drastic turn in 1983 while she was sailing with her fiancé in the Pacific Ocean. They got caught in a severe hurricane that took her fiancé's life and left her alone on a damaged boat. With broken navigation tools, she ingeniously repaired her sail and used a damaged sextant to find her way. For 41 days, she navigated dangerous waters until she was rescued near Hawaii. Her story is so compelling that it inspired a book and a movie, showcasing her resilience and survival instincts. Back in 2015, two young buddies, Austin Stephanos and Perry Cohen, decided to spend a day fishing off the coast of Florida. What started as an exciting outing turned into a nightmare when their boat flipped over, probably hit by an unexpected storm. Despite a huge search operation, nobody could find the teens. Only their capsized boat was recovered. This tragic event makes it clear just how quickly conditions can change at sea and the inherent dangers of maritime adventures. It's a poignant example of the sea's unpredictable nature and serves as a somber lesson in the risks faced even during leisurely activities near water. In another part of the world in 2007, Andrew Macaulay set out alone, aiming to kayak from Australia to New Zealand across the Tasman Sea. His adventurous spirit drove him to take on this formidable task solo. Unfortunately, his quest ended tragically when his kayak was overcome by the violent ocean waves. He did manage to send out a distress signal, holding on to hope for a rescue. However, Macaulay disappeared, leaving behind a story that highlights the immense risks taken by those who choose to explore the most isolated and treacherous parts of our planet. His fate reminds us of the vital importance of being well prepared and aware of the potential dangers when taking on such ambitious expeditions. Stay tuned. On a similarly stirring note, in 2002, Richard Van Pham set sail from California, aiming for Catalina Island. His plans were dramatically altered when a severe storm wreaked havoc on his boat, veering him way off his intended path and stranding him in the middle of the ocean. Isolated and alone, Pham managed to survive for over 3 months. He depended solely on the rainwater he collected and the fish he could catch to sustain himself. His survival story took a surprising turn when, out of the blue, a plane flying above on a drug enforcement mission noticed him drifting near Costa Rica. Pham's experience is a remarkable testament to human resilience and the ability to endure under extreme conditions. It also shows how help can come from the most unexpected places, often just when all seems lost. Moving from tales of survival, we now turn to even tougher challenges where people had to fight hard to stay alive. Hope in ocean depths. The tale of Maurice and Marilyn Bailey in 1973 really tells us a lot about what people can endure. They were sailing near Central America when a whale hit their yacht out of nowhere, wrecking it. Suddenly, the Baileys were left floating in a small rubber dinghy. For 117 long days, they faced tough weather, scary shark encounters, and the vast, open sea. They managed to stay alive by catching fish and collecting rainwater to drink. Their incredible ability to make do with what they had shows just how resourceful and brave they were. Finally, their tough time at sea came to an end when a Korean fishing boat found and rescued them. This story shows that sometimes survival is about both the strength of the human spirit and some good luck. During World War II, another amazing survival story happened with Poon Lim. After a German submarine torpedoed his ship, Lim was left alone on a tiny raft in the middle of the South Atlantic. He had to depend solely on the ocean for his survival, catching fish and gathering rainwater. Lim kept himself alive for an incredible 133 days through his sheer willpower and resourcefulness. He was eventually rescued by Brazilian fishermen. Lim's story is not just about the skills needed to survive such a harsh situation, but also about the mental strength needed to keep hope alive when all seems lost. And that's not all. One of the most heart-wrenching survival stories from World War II involves the crew of the USS Indianapolis after delivering crucial parts for the atomic bomb that would be used in Hiroshima. Their ship was hit by a torpedo from a Japanese submarine. The ship sank quickly, leaving about 900 men stranded in shark-filled waters without any lifeboats. For the next 4 days, they faced severe sun exposure, dehydration, and constant shark attacks. By the time they were found and rescued, only 316 survived. This tragic story is one of the most intense examples of survival in naval history, showing not just the dangers of war, but also the incredible will to survive under the worst conditions. Going back further, the story of Ernest Shackleton and his crew during the 1914 to 1917 Imperial Transantarctic Expedition also shows amazing human endurance. Their ship, the Endurance, got trapped and was eventually crushed by the intense Antarctic ice. Shackleton's leadership was crucial, as he and his crew had to survive in one of the toughest places on Earth. Impressively, Shackleton kept his team motivated and alive, leading them through icy waters and rough terrain to safety. Every member of the expedition survived, showing the power of good leadership and steadfast perseverance under extreme pressure. The Jeannette expedition, led by George DeLong in the late 19th century, aimed for the North Pole but ended in disaster. Their ship got stuck and was eventually crushed by ice, forcing the crew to abandon ship and try to reach safety on foot. They endured a brutal travel across the frozen Arctic, dealing with extreme cold, lack of food, and sheer exhaustion. Unfortunately, only a few of the crew survived to share their story. Their desperate struggle for survival in such a harsh and remote environment highlights the unpredictable nature of early polar explorations. In more recent history, in 2017, Jennifer Appel and Tasha Fuyava set out for an adventurous sail from Hawaii to Tahiti. Their path took a drastic turn when their boat broke down and they were left drifting at sea. For 176 days, they lived off their stored supplies and faced various challenges like bad weather and broken equipment. Their story, though met with some doubt due to inconsistencies and the lack of distress signals, eventually ended when a U.S. Navy ship spotted and rescued them. While their adventure raised some questions, it also underscored the risks of sailing and the crucial need to be ready for anything. But wait, there's more. These stories are powerful reminders of the sea's might and the incredible ability of humans to adapt and survive in the face of great dangers. Each story not only highlights the physical challenges these individuals faced, but also their mental struggle to maintain hope and determination in situations where many might give up. These survivors showed not just endurance, they displayed immense courage and a spirit that refuses to be broken, inspiring others to believe that overcoming even the toughest odds is possible with resilience and resourcefulness. After these tough sea stories, we learn about the U.S. Coast Guard, who work hard to keep people safe on the water. Century of maritime vigilance. The U.S. Coast Guard, USCG, has been around since August 4th, 1790, when Congress set it up to make sure people followed trade laws and didn't smuggle goods. It started as the Revenue Cutter Service, and it was pretty much the only sea force the US had until the Navy came along in 1798. As America grew, so did the duties of the Revenue Cutter Service. Fast forward to 1915, and you see the Revenue Cutter Service joining forces with the US Life-Saving Service to create today's Coast Guard. This new setup combined the jobs of patrolling the waters and saving people's lives at sea. They took on even more responsibilities, like looking after lighthouses and making sure boats were safe, especially after they merged with the U.S. Lighthouse Service in 1939 and the Bureau of Marine Inspection and Navigation in 1946. World War II was a busy time for the Coast Guard. They protected convoys, supported landings on beaches, and fought submarines. A standout moment was when they saved over 500 people from the sinking ship Dorchester in 1943, thanks to the brave crew of the cutter Comanche. In 1967, the Coast Guard got a new look with a racing stripe design to make it easily recognizable, thanks to some smart suggestions from the design firm Raymond Loewy/William Snaith Incorporated. More changes came in 2003 when it became part of the Department of Homeland Security, although it can work with the Navy during wars or if the president says so. The U.S. Coast Guard is a vital organization with a wide range of roles, from ensuring safety at sea to enforcing maritime laws. They focus on preventing accidents and disasters in the waters, making sure that every vessel adheres strictly to the rules, and assisting in navigation to keep everything smooth sailing. On top of that, they are staunch defenders of the environment, actively involved in protecting marine habitats and preventing pollution. One of the notable missions they undertake is drug interdiction. A standout operation was back in 2004 when they intercepted a fishing vessel carrying a whopping 30,000 pounds of cocaine. This operation highlights the Coast Guard's crucial role in stopping illegal substances from entering the U.S., showcasing their capability and dedication to keeping harmful drugs off the streets. And that's not the whole story. Diversity and inclusion are also core values of the Coast Guard. They've been pioneers in welcoming women and people from varied backgrounds into their community. During the Second World War, they established the SPARS, a reserve unit that allowed women to contribute significantly to wartime efforts. This tradition has continued, and today, the Coast Guard boasts a diverse workforce, with individuals from different backgrounds holding positions of authority and influence. When it comes to equipment, the Coast Guard is equipped with the best tools for the job. They operate a fleet of specialized vessels and aircraft designed for a variety of missions, from powerful icebreakers that navigate frozen waters to fast patrol boats and large cutters for extended missions at sea. They also have a range of aircraft, including helicopters and planes, used for everything from search and rescue operations to aerial surveillance and environmental monitoring. Education and training are also key aspects of the Coast Guard's approach. They run the U.S. Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut, where cadets undergo a rigorous 4-year program. Here, they not only receive academic education, leading to a Bachelor of Science degree, but also undergo practical training in leadership, maritime skills, and technical expertise. This comprehensive training ensures that upon graduation, they are well prepared to take on the responsibilities of Coast Guard officers. Moreover, the Coast Guard's adaptability has been tested over time. They've evolved to meet changing maritime challenges and technologies, whether it's adapting to new environmental regulations, responding to natural disasters, or updating their strategies to tackle modern-day threats like cybersecurity in maritime contexts. The Coast Guard has proven time and again that they can adjust and succeed under varying conditions. Did the Coast Guard do everything they could to save Captain Jeff and his crew, or is there more to this story that we don't know? Tell us what you think in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe for more.